are going to go ahead and start our OU Presidential Dream Course Global Public Relations Lecture. I'm very happy to see all of you here. I'm Katerina Tsatsura, Professor of Public Relations and Strategic Communication, right here at the Gaylord College. And I'm very, very happy and honored to present two of our guests today who agreed to fly all the way from London and all the way from New York to speak with us and brought a lot of props along the way. Almost feels like the Broadway/West End traveling show. So it's gonna be big. Let me introduce the guests very quickly. And this is Rob Flaherty. He is the CEO and president of Ketchum, one of the top largest public relations agencies in the world. We're very fortunate that he found time from his very, very busy schedule to come visit us here. He is located in New York City, and he's been working in public relations and communications industries for quite a long time. He leads the Public Relations Week's 2012 Agency of the Year. And Ketchum has a lot of very big clients to provide the strategy and communication consultancy, client service, and client performance. And Rob Flaherty is in charge of that. Since joining Ketchum in 1989, Flaherty has been involved in all aspects of strategic communication and business development for the agency, and worked for one of the largest clients in the agency, global practices clients, including IBM, FedEx, Philips, and Pfizer. We also have David Gallagher with us. He's the CEO of European branch of Ketchum and senior partner there as well, straight from London. He's a Texas native, so please, all the Texans in the room, say hello to the native. And please, all the Boomer Sooners in the room, please give a warm, warm welcome to the Texans. All right, and please give a very, very warm welcome to the Rob Flaherty here. Let him feel our welcome here. Fantastic. That's the spirit that we want to see. All right, well, great. David, I hope you feel right at home in Oklahoma. David is in charge of the Ketchum European branch agency, and he works with the clients with providing strategic advice and consulting there as well. He is also responsible for Ketchum's corporate social responsibility practices. So let's once again give a big Boomer Sooner welcome to Rob Flaherty and David Gallagher.
Hey, thank you, Professor Tsatsura. Thank you to Anna and Anna for our tour today. Very excited to be here. We had a lot of fun putting this together. This is tailored just for you because we believe very much in the future of our business and all the talent here. How many of you are graduating in 2 weeks? Wow. Congratulations. Awesome. And I know this is a crazy time, so we're going to try and make this painless. At the very least, you're going to find out that I really wanted to be a game show host. So, who here is a professor or a graduate assistant? All right. I just want to thank you all for the investment that you make in preparing the next generation of people coming into our business. David was here 2 years ago during a dream course. I just had the chance to tour this amazing facility. And beyond the technology and the physical plant that you have here, seeing the type of education that you're providing to these students is really impressive. There's a summit on PR education in 2 weeks in New York that I'm hosting. And the point that I'm making is not enough places are as progressive as OU is, offering the full integrated complement of things that you need to do in order to do well in our business. So that's some of what we want to talk about today. We want to get started and have some fun with you. And we're going to do this as a tag team because increasingly, if done well, public relations is, as you know, integrated and a collaborative activity.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Some of you follow me on Twitter, and I said this morning that you would get some big prizes. So these aren't props, these are actual prizes. I hope you've all drawn a number. 10 of you are going to take these home. You can brag to your friends about them, resell them on eBay, whatever you want to do with them. And we did this for a reason, because the best campaigns aren't just creative, they're actually shareable, and we create content together. So we're hoping you'll take some photographs, you'll be awarded this, we'll come and pose with you, and we'd like you to tweet this as well. The team back in New York will retweet, repost your content.
Hang in there. Okay, before we get to the fun stuff, 6 trends that we think are shaping the immediate future of communications that we believe you should all be aware of, and hopefully you have been touching on this, even though we may give it a slightly different name. All the Ketchum cases that we're going to share today are reflective of these trends, and they are truly from our entire global network. We're in 70 countries, we have 130 offices, so we pick things from around our global network to share with you. The first trend that I would share is a new definition of news. Those of us who are over 35 grew up in a world in which news was a destination. We sought out the news. It came through mass media. We would sit down and watch the evening news. We would get Time Magazine or USA Today. We would listen to the radio. We would go to the news. Now, as you know, it's kind of flipped around. It's not a destination anymore. News, the new definition to us, is something important enough to find me. I learned that from your generation, from people who are not out of the loop of news, for all the people who are older, who've said you need to watch the news and read the paper. You're not out of the loop on that news. It's getting to you, but it is getting to you because a friend sent it to you. It's not the traditional gatekeeper. Of course, you can go to mass media if you want, but increasingly, everything you find out about, including some events that have been going on here in the state of Oklahoma in the past month, have come to you, right? You heard about them on Facebook. Someone tweeted it. Someone sent you a text. The new channel for news is the human channel. One of our clients asked the question of any campaign we put together, will she care and will she share? That's what I want to see in this campaign. Is it relevant and will someone share it? We're going to show you cases in which that relevance was achieved.
The second trend we're seeing is, in economics we talk about supply and demand, and in the communications business the currency is really news, information, and announcements. Sorry about that, my mic or my voice. Terrible noise. Companies and brands generate news. That's kind of the supply of announcements. But what we're finding today is what's really important is the information that people care about. So we call this the demand side of news. So the best switch. So the best companies, is this better? Yeah. The best companies, best brands, best governments now listen to what their audiences want and give them information to meet their needs, to fuel interest, and to add value to the public conversation.
Number 3, big ideas can come from anywhere. One of the things that we're stressing in our firm is people your age who are coming into our firm can be a source of the great idea. So ideas from all levels. How many of you are from outside the United States? Phenomenal international representation here. Ideas can come from anywhere in the world. So we create platforms to do that. But also, a great idea can come from the PR firm. It doesn't have to, as in the past, come from the big ad agency. So we have a better shot in the PR field these days than ever to be the source of the campaign leading idea, the idea that everyone has to get behind. It doesn't just have to come from the big ad campaign and then everyone else flows behind that. It can come from anywhere. But the question we have to ask, because you've got to admire the creativity of the big ad agencies, what level of creativity do we need to have at Ketchum in order to be the source of that huge breakthrough campaign leading idea? A much higher level than in the past. You'll see how we've challenged ourselves with that.
Another global trend we see is that what really breaks through, what really cuts through all the noise and clutter now are what we call genuine human truths. You know, nobody has time for marketing messages or sales pitches. So to get attention, we have to be, of course, highly creative in our approach. But creativity by itself doesn't work if it's not based on something real, something emotionally relevant, and something that reflects a genuine human truth.
Number 5, speed matters, and I know you've been studying this here. You know, gone are the days when the agency could spend a month planning a campaign, and that campaign would be executed over the course of the next year. As you know, we live in the era of real-time marketing, in which the best marketing idea that your brand is going to have a week from now couldn't have been invented this week, because it responds to something out there in the real world. It's a brilliant response to something that's happening in the news that day or trending in popular culture.
And one final trend, we call it show me the money. In today's era of big data, our clients have the ability and the willingness and the desire to measure everything that we do. So we use at Ketchum our own advanced analytics system to measure exactly what was seen, what was shared, what was linked, what was passed on, and ultimately how it contributes to a company's business or financial goals.
Okay, so let's get started. The first 100 people who came into the room picked up a number. You can get your number out. I have a bucket of similar numbers here. I'm going to pick a lucky winner. Okay, the first winner is number 60. Where's number 60? Right there. Okay, I'll make this easy for you. You got a beach ball. Here, pass this back to her. Okay. Okay. What's your name? Jenny. Congratulations. The beach ball is symbolic of something you know a lot about here at OU, sports, and specifically Olympic sports. Procter & Gamble, largest marketer in the world. They spend $3.5 billion on marketing communications. They're one of our largest clients. And we worked with them on their first ever umbrella campaign, not for all their famous brands that you buy, but for Procter & Gamble, P&G. And the idea was how to attach all their brands to something they know a lot about, which is moms. And then the question becomes, if you're going to create a campaign that thanks moms for their dedication to their kids who made it to the Olympics, beyond the ad campaign, how are you going to bring that to life? What is the PR agency going to do to activate that idea and make it more experiential? Take a look.
Long before the games began, we made athletes' moms an inescapable part of the Olympic conversation, with original content, interviews, and of course the athletes themselves, owning their backstories in a way no other sponsor could. In Sochi, we created the P&G Family Home, a home away from home to serve the athletes and their families, becoming a soundstage celebrating moms from all around the world.
I've never been in a place that is like this.
It's an environment where athletes can spend quality time with their loved ones.
146 million video views and 25 billion impressions globally across paid, owned, earned, and shared channels, all connecting to 17 of our biggest brands and becoming one of the most successful campaigns in P&G's 176-year history. It was just our way of saying, thank you, Mom.
So how many of you are in the advertising major here? Okay, so you hopefully during Sochi you saw the ads, which are phenomenally well done. So that would be the big ad agency with a play to get on major media during the Olympics. But then you see the rest of this, right? Something you've all been studying. This is integrated marketing. It's fully social by design. It's experiential on the ground. You're pulling stories up and pushing it through earned media as well as social media. So one of the ones that we couldn't be prouder of, and the chief marketing officer at Procter & Gamble holds this up as one of the best campaigns they've done.
Yeah, I should have said at the beginning too, what we're showing you are case studies mostly from the Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. So these are our short videos we put together to try to win awards at Cannes. Some are from last year, but a lot are from this year. They haven't actually been submitted yet, and you're probably among the very first people, even inside Ketchum, to have seen them.
You're right.
And this is the first time we've tried this process too. I called Rob a couple weeks ago and said we need to think about what we're going to say in Oklahoma. He said, "Don't worry about it. I got this big idea." So hopefully it works out. Isn't too clunky, but we do need to draw another number.
Oh, this is very exciting. Get out your numbers. I really was born for the bingo parlor. Okay. The next number is 26. Who has 26? Right there. Okay.
You don't want to come down to this one, I think. So sometimes the best form of creativity is a surprise. It's the unexpected. This is actually a program from my part of the world, from Spain, with the Spanish government's largest promoter of recycling. Let's do the photo.
This is a solo cup.
This is a solo cup.
This is a red solo cup.
This is a symbol of partying and recycling. So congratulations. Okay, very good use of that. So the challenge here was to promote recycling across the country, but especially with one demographic. They found that the demographic least likely to recycle happened to be young males who happened to watch a lot of soccer or football in Spain. So to try to cut through in a way that would resonate with them, a program called Offensive Tweet.
For nearly 2 decades, Spain has been one of Europe's best glass recyclers. Yet 35% of the country still refuse to do it. That is, until we stepped in. It started with a simple tweet. We secretly recruited controversial Spanish football star José María Gutiérrez, Guti, active Twitter user and media lightning rod, to do what he seems to do best: wreak havoc. Do you waste time recycling glass? I don't. That was enough. The Twitter sphere caught fire and the whole country was ablaze with public outrage within a matter of hours. Then came our response. Posted from Ecovidrio, we challenged the country to help explain to Guti why recycling is essential. 4 days later, on World Recycling Day, Guti revealed his complicity with a tweet and video on Ecovidrio's blog, adding more fuel to the fire.
Hola a todos, hoy es lunes 13 de mayo. Que sepáis que estoy con la gente de Ecovidrio y que voy a mandar un tweet que seguro que va a causar cierta polémica. Quiero que sepáis que yo todo el vidrio que consumo en casa lo reciclo y bueno, ahí va el tweet. Espero que habléis mucho de reciclar y que no os metáis mucho conmigo. Un abrazo.
In that 4 days, we generated hundreds of stories, thousands of posts and video views, and millions of impressions. TV and radio coverage spread nationwide. Traffic to Ecovidrio increased over 1,000%, and the latest research has shown over 500,000 more people nationally are now recycling glass. And that's trash talk that worked.
That was so much fun. See how much fun we get to have in our business? So it's a hoax. The tweet is a hoax. And it causes far more engagement, far more people actually caring about the colossally boring subject of recycling. David, did you make the symbolic connection between the red Solo cup and recycling?
Yes, I
Oh, good.
I did mention. Sorry.
All right. The next one, see if you can guess the connection here. This is awesome. This is gorgeous paintbrush that one of you is going to receive. This sucker is heavy. And it's symbolic of creativity. And this notion that we talked about how you better raise your level of creativity to be in this business today, because that's the kind of work that's expected of us. And this paintbrush goes to number 71. Hey! It's a lethal weapon. That is heavy, man. Number 71, what's your name? Okay, well enjoy that. Don't kill anyone with it. Okay, but we are looking for killer creative. Oh, and by the way, the case we're going to share today is about Doritos. And I thought it was really mean to talk about Doritos for 5 minutes at 12:20 without some Doritos. So with the help of my friends, could we please pass around our Doritos? We promised an interactive lecture. Have some Doritos. Okay. While you're ripping those open, make as much noise as you want. Pass them around. We have original.
Can you tell her about me?
All right, hold the video for a moment. Okay, here's how this campaign works. We created 8 years ago the idea that the best creative does not just necessarily come from the agency. Why can't it come from the consumer themselves? So we created Crash the Super Bowl, in which consumers were asked to develop ads that ran during the Super Bowl. Now, if you followed this at all, it's been one of the most successful marketing campaigns ever. And for 5 or 6 years, these ads have been the ones that are in the top 1 or 2 slot in the highly coveted Next Day USA Today poll of best Super Bowl spots. So these are ads. Here's what happened. The first year, the first one cost $12 to make, and it was really made by a consumer. You know what happened after that? boutique ad agencies and freelancers figured out this was their ticket to fame. So some of these that I'm going to show you now are pretty slick, and that's because they really were donating their time and they're really pretty professional. But these were all donated. They were part of a contest picked by judges. And we can watch the second one.
A one-bag Doritos. There's gonna be like 5 other guys in there. So now we're gonna have to share. Tom told everyone to bring their own bag. Yeah, well, I drove you here, so really, this is kind of like my bag. Hey! Deep into that bag. Allergies, man.
So, what a way to get the consumer involved. And you know what happens? 3,000 of these are submitted. You've got thousands of people around the country engaging in your brand in an outrageously in-depth way, fantasizing about winning, regional competitions, finalists, national announcement. This has now been imitated a lot, but it's been a huge boon for that brand. David?
Sorry, we're still having some audio difficulties. All right, so our next prize is a ruler / surfboard. It's quite substantial.
It goes
Tell us
to,
who our winner is.
selected totally random, number 72. Who's 72? Right here.
Yay.
Great. There you go.
So the ruler is the symbol of measurement. This too is a program from my part of the world in Austria. It was for the maker of an Austrian deodorant. If you've been to Vienna, or if you've been to the subway system, it's a very efficient subway system, but some of the stations are quite stinky. Stephanplatz in particular is known for being a very stinky, smelly subway station, and this is where we chose to launch this particular product.
Vienna's Stephansplatz is breathtaking, literally. Its railway station absolutely stinks, thanks to a bonding agent that prevents the sandy ground of its foundation from subsiding. Deodorant maker Bolton wanted to show Austrians that its new double-effective Borotalco deodorant could handle even the toughest underarm stench by taking on the city's worst smell. We transformed Stephansplatz from foul central into a mystery scent oasis, spreading the smell of Borotalco throughout the ventilation system, across platforms, through trains and up escalators. Over 4 days, digital screens fed commuters' curiosity and word spread, turning the station into a must-visit respite for the city's weary noses. Passengers asked questions on trains and social media. And the mystery made headlines in Austria's biggest dailies. We finally revealed the brand, distributing samples and interviewing commuters, making Borotalco the talk of Vienna. In just a week, we reached 1.6 million noses directly, another 1.7 with our coverage, and in just 3 months, the brand met its sales projection for the full year and successfully captured 2% of the deodorant category in Austria. And that's a smell everybody liked.
So the remarkable thing about this campaign, it is submitted to this year's Cannes competition, and I got to judge the competition a few years ago. I think this is going to be a winner. But it illustrates what's happening increasingly in our integrated marketing world. So you've got real events, things that happen in a physical place that people actually have to go to and experience. You've got content that's very easily shared and replicated, and it generates its own conversation. So it's not about the brand talking, it's about the brand starting a conversation and enabling that conversation to be amplified.
Yeah, and you can see this phenomenal work, integrated marketing, experiential, is happening everywhere, all over the world now. We see this big leapfrogging effect in Asia where, because of mobile technologies, the greatest marketing in the world is being done in markets that previously had been much more traditional. Okay, our next prize is this handheld mirror. And this is symbolic of grooming. And we're going to do a case about our client Gillette. And it goes to number 36. Number 36, there you go. That's a fine reflection on you.
Oh, we can do better with applause, I'm sure.
Okay, so you can tell from David's face that it's not the greatest time in the world for shaving, for selling razor blades.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Yeah, the scruff in the room. And our client is Gillette, trying to sell razors to men your age. And so how do you do that in a way that is engaging, that creates some relevance, that's the kind of content that someone might actually share and talk about? Well, we picked a subject that's pretty important. Let me take a look.
The stubbled look is back in fashion, which is no big deal, unless you happen to sell razors. With shave frequency down, how could Gillette reverse this trend among young men? By listening to young women and finding out what they think.
Most of the girls, they like the look of stubble, but then the feel of it, not so much.
If a guy has scruff, usually that would make it definitely want to kiss them less.
Gillette embarked on a mission to make the American man more kissable by redefining the very meaning of the word kiss as keep it smooth shaven. Our online documentaries looked at the science of kissing and got the debate started.
Men seem to be able to predict unconsciously if a woman is likely to be ovulating.
The vacuum kiss, where you suck the air out of your partner's mouth, it's very pleasant if you do it right.
Neuroscience now has this fantastic technology where we can look inside the brain.
I can't stand facial hair at all. Not to say that I don't find it attractive on some men.
Women joined the conversation and voted for what they preferred to kiss. To settle this issue for good, we hit the road.
Gillette has done this amazing survey recently called the Kiss and Tell event, which was in 16 cities around the United States, and they had couples come in, and the experiment was to see whether or not women preferred clean-shaven men over men with stubble.
Will we kiss before he shaved when he was hairy and after when he was smooth?
I prefer the smooth shaven, definitely.
I'll say smooth for kissing. I like it a little bit, actually, a little fuzzy.
Through our infographics, ads, billboards, and online hub, the rest of the country joined in the debate. On Valentine's Day 2013, the results of the debate were announced.
85% of women prefer their men to keep it smooth shaven.
They're trying to help the guys get a little extra action.
Where do they do these studies, and can you get the number for me?
Early results have been impressive. Our ultimate goal? A more kissable American man.
My face gets a little bit more action now.
We're lucky the study turned out that way, weren't we?
Really, just fun. It's very self-serving, a fun way to get conversation going.
All right, our next prize is a diamond ring, symbolic of love. Rob, tell us who won the diamond ring.
64. Where's 64? All right. That is a 106-carat diamond. Feel the weight on that puppy. Nice. Whoop. With the velvet box. Congratulations.
You'll see that we picked the prizes first, and then we
and then force fifth into the case.
Right. It's a pretty big stretch on some of these cases. This is for a program that we did for Wendy's called Pretzel Love Song. So there is a little bit of a connection. Now here's the business challenge if you're in the quick serve burger industry. Almost all the companies launch a new burger every summer, a new product every summer, and there's usually a spike of awareness or interest in it, and then it trails off quite quickly. So to make the maximum impact and to keep the conversation going a little bit longer, we responded in this way.
When Wendy's was testing their new pretzel bacon cheeseburger, something beautiful happened. Consumers didn't just like it, they loved it, flocking to social media to sing its praises. So we decided to take this incredible test market love and share it with the world, turning real consumer tweets and posts into soulful pretzel love songs. Early media coverage of the national rollout sent sparks flying, kicking off in USA Today, with news and entertainment media literally eating out of our hands. But to really turn this magical idea into a national love affair, we brought in former boy band heartthrob and reality star Nick Lachey, holding a private concert at Manhattan's 34th Street Wendy's, where Nick debuted the first pretzel love song to a hungry media and live streaming audience, inviting the whole nation to tweet even more love so he could produce the ultimate love song and music video from his favorites. PR lit the fire and kept the love sizzling all summer long, driving crazy on and offline engagement, leading up to the release of Nick's love song finale.
Bro, that is when he's making pretzel burgers. Incredible, I need one now. This is awesome town.
When it was over, after thousands of placements, millions of views, and billions of impressions, same-store sales had jumped 3.2%, and the pretzel bacon cheeseburger had become the most successful product launch in Wendy's 40-year history. And that was music to our ears.
What a sampler of the kind of creativity we got to keep coming up with. We do hundreds of these campaigns a year. Okay, our next prize is this incredibly subtle real clock wristwatch. Dave, hold it there, thank you. And it goes to number 61. Who's got 61? Here you go. Come on down. Okay, come on down. Here, it's symbolic of what we were talking about before, real-time marketing. That everything has to be done very quickly these days, and long-planned campaigns aren't as effective. Smart marketers look every day at what consumers are actually talking about. How many of you have studied or heard the term newsjacking? Newsjacking? Okay, so get used to that term in which your brand, your agency hijacks something that happened that day. So breaking news in the world of sports or entertainment or hard news happens, and he's having a hard time getting back to his chair. Oh, hey, by the way, this is great news. It also comes with an interchangeable black strap too for formal occasions. They think I'm dead. Casual and then dress up. Okay. So newsjacking is when you find something going on in the world and you decide you're going to jump on it. Let's go back to the World Series 2013. Who won the World Series? Anyone remember anyone from New England? Red Sox won, okay? So if you are, once again, if you're Gillette, you may remember that year they all grew rally beards. What would you do with that once that's happening? And it once again fights against the product that you sell. We'll show that one and then we'll jump to another one from our friends at Frito-Lay.
Major League Baseball's Boston Red Sox 2013 was a grand slam year, going from worst to first and winning the World Series. Along the way, all the players grew beards. Beards that became a unifying symbol of the team. Good luck charms, and a look that captivated both fans and the sport's huge TV audience. Millions showing their support by doing the same.
What hair was to Samson, facial hair is to these Boston Red Sox.
But for Boston-based Gillette, the situation posed a hairy dilemma. They couldn't mess with the mojo of the Lucky Beards, but they also couldn't celebrate their hometown team when they refused to shave. Especially with their business already hit hard by the Hollywood popularity of beards and shaving at an all-time low. So they didn't. Instead, they waited for the right moment to turn the team celebration into a Gillette celebration, a shaving celebration, inviting two of the most popular players to their world headquarters after the season ended to bid farewell to those beards, with fans vying for the chair next to them. In front of a packed house of national media, the bids of MVP David Ortiz and fan favorite Shane Victorino first came off and were then auctioned off on eBay in custom beard ball trophies. The campaign secured 575 placements for USA Today and the Washington Post to live coverage on the Today Show, generating over 1 billion earned impressions.
Two members of the world champion Boston Red Sox are shaving off those lucky beards.
The auction raised almost $15,000 for men's health charity Movember, fueling another wave of publicity. And Gillette finally got to celebrate a clean hometown victory.
So, you know, critical to that, I hope you caught it in the middle, was that there was a 24-hour contest to apply to be the third guy who was going to get shaved. So the real fan interaction wasn't just seeing kind of the fun video. It was thousands of guys applying to be there, sitting next to their sports heroes and getting shaved on the same day. So jumping on an event, you couldn't have really come up with that idea until the event was going to happen, right? Now here's another one, April Fool's Day. This is April Fool's Day a year ago. And this is for our friends at Frito-Lay. If you're going to have some fun with April Fool's Day and you're selling Cheetos, let's see what we did for that.
Chester the Cheetah, mischievous mascot for Cheetos, America's favorite cheese-flavored snack. A household name in his own right, yet he'd never quite achieved true pop culture icon status. Something was missing. Snack foods are a $124 billion business in North America, and a real jungle when it comes to breaking through. So we gave Chester some help with something every major celebrity needs, his own fragrance. Cheeto, the limited edition cheese-infused cologne that captures the true essence of Chester.
Your scent captivates, powerful, with plenty of bite, a wafting whiff of pungent desire. You're sharp as dinking, lustful cloud of aged cheddar, pervasive, fermented passion, the smell of hunger. Unexpected, yet undeniable. Cheeto by Chester, dangerously cheesy.
Launch date, April Fool's Day. Everyone thought they sniffed a hoax. But Chester's no fool, and this was no joke. We put very real bottles of Cheeto into the hands of major media across the country.
Smell that.
Oh, it's Cheetos.
It's Cheetos.
It's real.
And sampled it in events from coast to coast, grabbing top-tier stories. 937 million impressions in just 4 days, lingering for months after. And Cheeto became an instant collector's item, with a rare bottle sold on eBay for almost $100. The sweet smell of success. Undeniably cheesy.
At this point, I'm eager to point out that Ketchum has also a very serious corporate and public affairs practice. Not everything we do is silly.
Or based around odors either. All right, so I've been waiting to get this one out for a long time. This is a stack of cash. And I actually have to use 2 hands. I'm going to put the mic down while Rob draws the number.
Exciting. The winner of the $3 million in cash is number 46. 46, right, come on down. Suitable for sitting on. It's a stool.
It's substantial.
Congratulations.
You're going to want to lift with your legs, not your back. So this is a program we did for H&R Block here in the U.S. They're the tax preparation service. They estimate that Americans leave behind $1 billion every year in either misfiled or incorrectly filed tax returns. So this is our solution to help them correct that problem called Get Your Billion Back.
Then, shockingly, Americans left more than $1 billion in unclaimed refunds on the table last year.
And the main areas where that happens is with deductions or credits not claimed or not taken.
This is your money. Get it back with Block.
I'm probably doing it wrong, which is why I don't get anything at the end of the year. You ever made a mistake with a gun?
More than once. It's just a matter of being disappointed when your money doesn't come back the way you anticipated.
Very important to get everything that you should get.
Everybody's gonna be lined up over here not trying to get some money.
James, $1 billion, obviously a ton of money.
Well, since it's tax day, I thought it'd be the perfect time to show you something we did with our friends at H&R Block.
Go H&R Block!
Next year, for sure, I know I'm going to do my taxes with H&R Block, man. There's a lot of money.
I trust this guy.
I just love their reactions.
Yeah. Create buzz by giving away cash. That's just one way to do it. Okay, our next prize. I need an adventurous participant for this one. Okay, here's what it is. It's Scrabble squares. It goes to number 73. Who's 73? Right here. Come on up. Okay, now, there's a quiz involved in this. Right here on the edge of the stage. See if you can put these in an order representative of something, any word you want to spell. Okay, this is symbolic of reading or spelling. And that's because at Ketchum we volunteer for a lot of things. We like to give back to our communities. And, oh, look how smart. Okay, good. We can stand them up. I think you get the point. All right, those are for you. Okay, symbolic of spelling and reading, we work with the global literacy charity Room to Read. How do you create interest in giving to a global literacy charity? What would captivate the imagination? What would be a contrarian approach to achieving that kind of visibility? Let's check it out. Literacy.
So I love that campaign, partly because it's a great campaign, but it also says a little bit about our culture at Ketchum. This is a pro bono client. We don't charge them anything. And in fact, our people around the world volunteer their own time to work on it, including Rob and myself. And it's a big part of our commitment to giving back to the communities that we operate in, or hope to operate in someday. All right, so last prize is the pencil.
This is a subtle one. This is
symbol of writing, obviously.
And this goes to number 86. Right here.
So, be careful of that one as well.
Oh, and you're going to need this.
So our client was the Dutch post office in the Netherlands, obviously, and their challenge was to get millennials, young people, university-age students, to write more letters. Now, nobody writes. I actually do write letters. I like to send postcards, but most people, I'm old, most people don't write letters. So this was our answer to this challenge.
PostNL denkt dat jongeren meer kaarten per post gaan versturen als er postzegels zijn met daarop een foto van een van de DJ's.
On their stamp. So we're talking to a group of 10 European bureaucrats. They've given us a lot of data. We thought we told them we were going to come in with something pretty interesting and surprising, but we said we're going to put DJs on stamps. I thought they were going to ask us to leave. But after a while, they nodded their head, and I knew right then that we won the pitch.
So let's take a look at those trends. I hope you saw them jumping out through these cases. You know, the new definition of news is something important enough to find me. So what do we have to do as creative marketers in order to give them something to share with their friends? As David said, move away from our supply of news, all about us, to what other people care about. Big ideas can come from everywhere, including right here in this room. You're going to be the source of the next great marketing campaign. Genuine human truths, things that matter, that have an emotional resonance, are what's getting through these days. It's got to be done fast. Half of all the great marketing ideas you're going to come up with next week couldn't be invented this week if you're doing it right. And you better be ready to deliver results, as all of those cases show. They were very results focused. So I hope you saw that in the cases. I hope it somewhat inspires you as you go off into your careers. And I hope it helped you to dream big about your future in communications. So thank you so much for all of your time and attention. So we have about 5 minutes for questions or comments, and then you'll be out of here on time. Any comments or questions? Any things that jumped out at you? Yes?
Yeah, sure. First of all, awesome presentation. Thank you so much for coming. My question was, you talked a lot about how speed matters and a lot of these things, but a lot of the presentations you showed us were very pre-planned. Can you tell us about some of the agents, the changes you've made in your agency to be able to respond very quickly, find these creative ideas, and then execute them so that it's relevant?
Yes. So great question. It sounds like you've really been studying that. We call about 60% of what we do planned, and about 40% falls into 2 buckets. One is called planned improv. That would be when you know some event is coming up, and you can kind of plan several things you might do, but then you're going to decide right in the moment what you're actually going to do. But it required the creation of some assets going in, right? And then the other part is just called agile, and it is real improv. It's something that you couldn't have planned for, real spontaneity. So what we've done, we have amazing social listening all over our agency. We use Brandwatch, Radian 6, all the platforms, in a platform called Storyworks. Storyworks is, let's say, 8 people in a room, war room style, working for our clients, the ones that want this kind of real-time marketing. You're going to have a head of research there. You're going to have a strategic planner, account planner in the insights category. You're going to have a creative director in the room. You're going to have real-time content creators, meaning they can do photography, videography, animation, memes, music, mobile content, real-time in the room. And you're going to have the metrics people doing the back-end analytics. Some of these, we do a scrum 2 times a day, 10 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon. We're looking for memes that we can pounce on. We create a campaign. There's a checkpoint with the client at noon. They either thumbs up or thumbs down in the campaign. If it's thumbs up, it takes off. We have Storyworks now in 10 offices. We'll have it in 30 by the end of the year. So that's some of what we're doing to be in a position to jump. Make sense?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And what new careers this has created. Phenomenal. And we're not like taking everyone who used to do this and saying, you can leave now, we're bringing in people like this. We've done massive education within our company. Online training called the Race to Make It Real, so that we can retrain the 2,500 people that we need able to do this. You know, you don't say if someone's 30 years old, okay, I used to do old school, so now I need some. So this online training is all over the world. It was mandatory. It takes hours. It's done collaboratively in a social way where you see each other's answers to questions, and then you vote it up or down. So there's a leaderboard. It's gamified, and it's been a huge success to re-educate our whole workforce for this future. Yes, please.
So with like the massive drop-off in organic reach of social, how has that changed your approach to social as well as like your recommendations?
Another great question. You know, the algorithms have pumped up all the paid stuff. So guess what? We're in the paid amplification business. Ketchum, Taboola, Outbrain, a lot of platforms that are now available for either sponsored links, some kind of sponsored content, and most of everything we do in social now is backed by paid amplification. It's not expensive, but it's required because of, you know, it actually to me is a consumer rights issue. The fact that Facebook and Yahoo and Google have deprioritized anything that isn't paid means what you actually want to share with people isn't as important as something that a brand paid for. And they really, you know, there should probably be more scrutiny of that, but that's the reality. So we do a lot of paid amplification now. Yes? Any others? Yeah, please.
Is there a stigma that comes with paid amplification? For example, do you have trouble getting people to click on promoted links on Twitter and stuff? And how do you overcome that with the content itself?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of big issues there. One is disclosure. You know, does the person know that it's a sponsored link? And you see all this stuff all the time. My own experience is half of it you can tell because it says brought to you by or something. Half of it you can't. I mean, on some of the major news sites, the stuff on that homepage where there might be 30 different articles, and suddenly you see one that's a news article 5 days in a row, you realize that, wait a minute, someone paid for that to be floating there amidst all those real stories so that you'd be drawn into that content and their ad or whatever would appear next to it. So we do talk a lot about the disclosure dimension.
But there's a second part, and that's just the quality of the content. So good content can be sponsored. Bad content can be, good content that is sponsored doesn't have much stigma attached to it.
Yeah, right. And good and bad exists in both paid and unpaid. Great question, yeah.
So as college students, we're all about to graduate and we're all wanting jobs at huge corporations and awesome corporations like yours. What are you looking for from us?
Yeah, well, one thing that surprised me as I go around to colleges and universities, and I don't know what they teach you here, you get like resume advice and it all conflicts.
Right.
So let me confuse you again. But I'm surprised. If you had 2 jobs that were actually, I had to work my way through college jobs, but they aren't relevant to your career. And then you had an internship, and that's quite relevant. I'm finding a lot of professors and career counseling centers have you major on your jobs to show that you're a professional, but your actual education is de-emphasized. My daughter graduated a year ago, and I looked at her resume, and I was like, honey, you're phenomenal leader as a camp counselor, but that isn't actually what you're going into. Then you had an internship. But you guys, I can tell from the questions you're asking, you're taking very progressive courses. I would suggest under your GPA and when you graduated, put 4 courses that were particularly progressive sounding. And if one is just called integrated marketing, pick something you did within that. I had to study the rise of Instagram, and I did a white paper on it. List that, because of course what we're looking for are progressive skills. We're looking for people who can do that, who can fit into the StoryWorks newsroom. And we're not going to see that if it just says you went to OU, graduated in May of 2015, and I was a waitress and I also had an internship. And give us that. Of course, under Lindsay and Asp, if you've done that, you're going to have lots to be able to list of real campaigns you worked on. So I'd say show us the progressive skills, and of course it goes right down the line. Insights, strategy, creative, content creation across paid, earned, shared, and owned channels. Show us some of that.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, I think this would be a fantastic starting point for us. It's been such a treat to have you both here in Oklahoma, and thank you again for coming to our big